Thank you for watching Truth, Facts, Logic. Today we are going to look at ivermectin in the news. The news media has been making fun of people for using horse dewormer, a medicine that the news media is portraying as designed for animals, ivermectin, and it's mocking people who are using this for the treatment of COVID-19. So I want to look at the rest of the story today. Here we are on the USA Today website, and we're looking at an article from September 12th about ivermectin. And the New Mexico Poison Center says ivermectin calls have already tripled this year. So compared to 2020, with 3+ months left to go in 2021, the number of ivermectin poison calls have tripled. That sounds very daunting and very dangerous. What does that mean? Let's scroll down and take a look. What we learn is that indeed there have been triple the number of reports from 5 in 2020 to 16 in 2021. That is indeed more than triple the number of reports. But when reading the headline, is that really what you expected? There were 5 in 2020, and so far year to date in 2021 there's 16. Let's take a quick look at how that compares with the COVID-19 vaccine. We are here now on the CDC website, the Centers for Disease Control. We're going to do a search for vaccine types. We are going to select and look at all vaccine products. And we are going to look for death numbers for all vaccine products. And these numbers have been updated as of September 3rd, 2021. Let's see what the result is. Just be a moment. So since 1990, when this reporting system began, there have been 11,669 total reported deaths after any and all vaccines. This is the one that we want to look at, the COVID-19 vaccine, and in the approximately 9 months of COVID vaccine, there has been 7,416 reported deaths after the vaccine. This does not prove that the vaccine caused the death, but these reports came after each of these particular vaccinations. 7,416, this number really ought to absolutely alarm everyone. Almost 64%. 63.55% of all reported deaths after any and all vaccines, almost 64% of them were reported after the COVID-19 vaccine. So this database began in 1990, more than 30 years ago. The COVID vaccine has been around for about 9 months. And in 9 months' time, almost 64% of all reported vaccine-related deaths were reported after the COVID-19 vaccines. So again, this does not prove that the vaccine caused the death, but 7,416 deaths were reported after the vaccines, almost 64%. Let's go back to our newspaper story. So the newspaper story tells us that there is one suspected fatal poisoning from ivermectin. A suspected. They're looking into confirming a suspected fatal poisoning from ivermectin. While we just looked at 7,416 suspected side effects resulting in death after the COVID-19 vaccination. Suspected, they're not proven to be caused by the COVID-19 vaccine, but there's one suspected, according to this USA Today news article, from ivermectin, compared to almost 7,500 from the COVID vaccine. Now we'll look at this image on the USA Today website. It says, notice these products are for sale for animal use only. Okay, so the news media is running wild with this notion that people are using a product made only for animal use, and this image seems to support that. Let's take a look and see what the CDC has to say about this. Okay, here we are on the CDC website once again. This is information guidance for overseas refugees health guidance. So this is not related to COVID-19. This is the Center for Disease Control's guidance for refugees coming to the United States. Let's scroll down and see they have vaccination program for U.S. bound refugees. We're not going to look at that. And here's more information on the vaccination program, which was updated in January 2021. And interestingly enough, it does not appear that the COVID vaccine is even on this. But that's not really what we want to look at. This is what we want to look at: intestinal parasitic guidance. Remember, the news media has been mocking people for taking horse dewormers, taking medication designed for animals. Well, what does the CDC say for incoming refugees? Oh, look at this. All Middle Eastern, Asian, North African, Latin American, Caribbean refugees should receive presumptive therapy with this medication, a single dose. And look at this, ivermectin, 2 doses. The CDC is recommending ivermectin to human beings. No, it's not for COVID. But no, it's not just for animals the way the news media is portraying it to be. And here again, another recommendation for human beings of ivermectin, 2 doses orally once a day for 2 days, and some other medications. Again, they receive presumptive ivermectin. And here's more ivermectin recommendations and some background. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time here. The point being that ivermectin, unlike what you're hearing on the mainstream news media, is not just horse dewormer. It's not only for animals. So let's go back to the USA Today story. They do give a cursory obligatory acknowledgement that there has been some early clinical research into the drug's benefits against COVID. But then they quickly stress it's not an approved treatment. And they talk about overdoses. So, again, why the news media only seems to tell one side of the story, I'm not sure. Let's look at one last thing here. There's a quote from the FDA: "You are not a horse." The FDA warns against ivermectin as treatment for COVID-19. Now, you are not a horse. Once again, we've already seen where the CDC has recommended the use of ivermectin for human beings. Not for COVID, but for human beings, not just for animals. Why is the news media saying this? I don't know. So, the New Mexico, last thing from the news article, the New Mexico Department of Health warned that ivermectin-based animal medications can be highly concentrated and result in overdoses. So again, the focus is, this is for animals, stupid. Why are you people taking it? Remember what we looked at, where the CDC repeatedly recommends for refugees coming to the United States doses of ivermectin. It's not just an animal treatment. So let's look at one more thing before we wrap this up. Here we are in the NIH, which is an official government website, as you can see. It is pubmed.gov, which is a part of the NIH, and this is the National Library of Medicine. And again, pubmed.gov, this is a government website. So let's look at the headline. The headline says, "A 5-day course of ivermectin for the treatment of COVID-19 may reduce the duration of the illness." What? What we were just looking at in the news media is, don't use ivermectin. You could look at the CDC and the FDA, where they warn against using ivermectin for COVID treatment. But here we have pubmed.gov, the NIH, National Library of Medicine, saying that a 5-day treatment of ivermectin may reduce COVID-19 illness duration. Somebody's speaking with a forked tongue, people. Let's scroll down here and look at some of the abstract, a few lines from this abstract here. We see in lines 1 and 2, ivermectin, a U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved antiparasitic agent, was found to inhibit severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2, replication in vitro. Okay, so this test was found to inhibit severe acute respiratory coronavirus syndrome replication. In simple terms, it looks like it was working. And then we're going to read the last 3 lines in this abstract. There were no severe adverse drug events recorded in the study. A 5-day course of ivermectin was found to be safe and effective in treating adult patients with mild COVID-19. Larger trials will be needed to confirm these preliminary findings. Folks, do your homework. Everything that I just showed you, except the USA Today newspaper report, everything I showed you is from official government websites. Get all the facts, use your brain, and follow truth facts and logic. Come to a totally informed decision.